Okay, so this is the problem that was on your Canvas lesson. We have 3x minus 7y equals 5, and negative 5x plus 9y equals 5. So again, notice, adding these together, that makes negative 2, that makes positive 2, nothing gets eliminated. There is no number that I can multiply 3 by to get 5, and there is no whole number that I can multiply negative 7 by to get 9. I'm going to have to change both equations to something else. So I'm going to look at these and decide which is the easier one to find the lowest common multiple for. 9 and 7 is pretty high. Like, you're going to have to go up to like the 60s to make that happen. That can get a little bit aggravating with lots of large numbers. The 3 and the 5, however, we can make that a little bit smaller, right? 3 and 5 both go into 15. So let's make the top one positive 15, and let's make the bottom one negative 15. So what number do I multiply this top equation by to get 15? That would be 5. And what number do I multiply this bottom equation by to get negative 15? That would be 3. So my new equations are 15x minus 35y equals 25, and negative 15x plus 27y equals 15. And again, notice, after changing our equations around, we end up with this really nice situation. 15 minus 15, that makes 0, though x gets eliminated. Negative 35 minus 27 gives me negative 8y. And then 25 plus 15 makes 40. We're going to divide both sides by negative 8, and we're going to get y equals negative 5. Half of my solution is here. We're going to take that, and we're going to plug it into my favorite equation up there. Let's do the bottom equation this time. Negative 5x plus 9 times negative 5 equals 5. That's negative 5x minus 45 equals 5. We're going to add 45 to both sides. We're going to get negative 5x equals 50. And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. And we end up with x equals negative 10. So there's my solution, negative 10, negative 5. Finally, the last thing that we're going to do today is look at a question in context. So Darlene is making a quilt that has alternating stripes of regular quilting fabric and sateen fabric. She spends a total of $76 on 16 yards of the two fabrics at a fabric store. The cost of the sateen fabric was $6 per yard, and the cost of the regular quilting fabric was $4 per yard. How much of each type of fabric did she purchase? So the first thing that we need to do here is make two equations. Two equations, there we go. We need to make two equations. And I want you guys to notice as we read this, we're given two sets of information, right? First, we're being told how much she spent on it. And then we're also being told how many yards of fabric she purchased. So we're going to have one equation where we're talking about cost. And then we're going to have another equation where we are talking about length. So let's do the cost equation first. First, let's define a couple of variables here. The two things we're finding are how much of each type did she purchase. So we're going to have two variables here. The first is going to be how much of the quilting fabric did she purchase. And I should really say amount of quilting fabric. And then we've also got the amount of the sateen, which is remarkably close to satin fabric. And I don't suggest making any of your quilts out of satin fabric because, weird thing happens when you make anything out of satin's materials, right? It's just bad. Don't do it, right? It summons demons. It's just not a thing you want to get into, okay? Anyway, we want to make a cost function here. So we know that the sateen fabric was $6 per yard and the quilting fabric was $4 per yard. So if we take the amount on the quilting fabric that she spent and we add it to the amount of the sateen fabric that she spent, we would get the total that she purchased, right? So we know that that total is 76. We know that the quilting fabric was $4 per yard that she purchased, right? So since X is the amount that we don't know, it's $4 per yard that she doesn't know, plus the sateen fabric, which is 6 times Y, because it's 6 times the amount of quilting fabric. So there's our first equation, 4x plus 6y equals 76. So I'm going to write that over here. 4x plus 6y equals 76. Now, to do the length. Well, we know that she purchased a total of 16 yards. Now, to get that 16 yards, we would just be taking the amount of quilting fabric she bought plus the amount of sateen fabric she bought. And because there's no like number multiplying that, that's just the amount of quilting plus the amount of sateen equals 16 yards. So there's my second equation. Now we have enough that we can we can solve this system of equations. We have to use multiplication because nothing adds goes away. So I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by -4. So that's going to be 4x plus 6y equals 76. And then multiplying across, we get -4x minus 4y equals 16 times 4, which is -64. Adding those together, we get 2y equals 12. And dividing by 2, we get y equals 6. So that means that the amount of sateen fabric purchased was 6. And kind of appropriately, if it was sateen fabric, it would be 666 yards. Oops, should not write Satan's number here on the thing. Never a good thing. Okay, let's try that again. So now we need to find the amount of quilting fabric, and we're going to do that the same way we did that. We're going to plug in. We get x plus 6 equals 16, and x equals 10. So we have 10 quilting fabric and 666 of satin's fabric. Nope, I'm sorry, we're going to get 6 satin fabric. We're going to cross that out. That's bad. Okay. That's it. That's our solution right there. All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you've got questions, of course, send me a message, leave me a comment, find me in class, whatever you got to do. And hopefully we can, and then we'll, continue on with what we're doing with 6.4. Thanks you guys for watching. Have a good one. Bye.